Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
Hello and welcome. It is KVJ Thursday after the show podcast.
Yes, Kevin.
Yes, Jaybird.
What was that?
I was in between voices, I think. I was going, yeah, Kevin, but I wasn't quite there.
I lacked the motivation. So instead, I sounded a little Halloween-y.
Yeah, Kevin, we love you.
Kevin. Spooky slow motion voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, got some things to bring up today. Including a comment from Lauren, just some stuff she's heard. Dixie Chicks Lauren said, swear to God, I thought Kevin was fishing me yesterday. Are there really that many crazy people? First, the lady that thought that a blowout Sweet 16 to show off to a bunch of teenagers is more important than an internship. Yep. And I think, honestly, for her thing, she saw it as we can do both. Not either or. She was like, let's take the option to do both. Sweet 16 this year, internship next. And the husband was like, don't chance it. So he saw it possibly as an either or. And I think that's what she was trying to reframe. Because I heard from her afterwards, be like, I don't feel like I'm like, no, I think people kind of got what you were saying. But, I don't think you'd have won anyway. But she really wanted to stress that. Then also the lady with the guy's cologne. She bought it for him, but he cannot wear it.
That was insane.
That's Christina.
Yes,
our
that
old
lady.
intern.
And
Yes.
I think she's awesome, but that was insane. That whole topic was fucking insane.
Yeah, there were.
There's your rap laugh. That was it right there. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there were some people, though, that were like, okay, I get it. 22% said, no, it's not crazy. I get that.
But that's usually about how it is. 20% of the world is fucking mad.
Yeah. And by the way, I forgot to mention it yesterday for anybody who was wanting to know what the supposedly amazing cologne was that we were discussing.
Yes.
Teak wood from Bath and Body Works.
Teak wood.
Don't know anything about it.
It's a Bath and Body Works scent?
That's what apparently she said.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh.
So there you go.
I did not expect that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it would be something like Jakar. Something from the 80s.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
She said, people have completely lost their minds. This is why I have 3 friends and avoid other people at all costs. Side note, my husband smells and looks sexy every damn day. Look and take a good whiff, ladies, because that's all mine.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a great email, and she gets it, man. She's awesome.
Thank you for making me feel like a normal, functioning member of society in comparison.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. There's a video I wanted to show you real quick. I think on KVJ TV you can see it. It's a pretty funny tweet that I saw. It's on our thread. It says, some days I question my parental skills, and I know you get it. Imagine, you've got a toddler or a youngster that is, probably younger than Rocco, and
They like to test you.
yeah, you just kind of like hide your feeling, like I'm exhausted, and so the kid's kind of on the ground and whatever, and your mama gets her glass of wine going. You can check this video. I'll hold it up there. There's a kid who's kind of like walking around. There's mama. Toddler comes up, and mama's got her wine, and whoops, toddler gets his hands. Then the kid dumps the wine all over his face, and then you just feel like, okay, I'm the worst mom ever, because half that glass went in his mouth.
Oh, he's drunk dialing girls.
And it's red wine.
Oh, red wine. Kid comes over, just takes the whole thing, just dumps the glass right on his face. That's all you say. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much where it is. Yep.
I think I've done that before.
Our toddler spills a lot.
Just to let you know, Mike sent this in about British candy. Publix has British candy in a section of the international aisle.
They do. That's right.
You want to try? We're talking about trick-or-treating. The woman in Britain who's trying to pay somebody $65 an hour to take out her 3 kids trick-or-treating because she's just horrified of the holiday.
They do have a whole little ethnic section at Publix. They have British, they have like island food, they have like certain different subsects of Hispanic food.
Really?
Yeah, you can find some fun stuff in the ethnic aisle there at Publix.
Okay. Very nice. Got an email about the RV and tiny house discussion we had. Chris said, yeah, I heard the bit about the RV, the tiny houses. And what are your thoughts on stealth calling? People take vans and they put beds, sinks, bathrooms, and AC, Wi-Fi, TV, video games, etc. There are tons of videos on YouTube how to make them. They camp overnight at Walmart and places like that. One guy was doing it and renting his house to save money for his daughter's college.
That's not dumb at all. That's awesome.
No, what's his name? What's the DJ in town that always goes up north?
DJ Jesus. What's his
he
real
doesn't look
name?
like DJ Jesus.
You know DJ.
Yeah.
DJ Nelson?
No.
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Not at all. Anyway, there is a DJ here in town, and he cool gig. I mean, I'm looking at this guy. He's just got that cool eclectic vibe. In fact, I remember I was talking to him. I think it was right around Christmas. We were at Meat Market there on Palm Beach.
You guys had a cool off?
No, he's way cooler than I am. He won. I'd be like, yeah, you're cooler. Because he can pull off, like, things are braided and, he's got bracelets.
I'd like to see you try to pull
all
that
that, that kind of like linen pant look and all that kind of like real hippie kind of looking stuff going on. And so, yeah, we're just sitting here talking. And,
Adam Lipson.
yeah, thank you, DJ Adam Lipson. And he was telling me, about how great Tel Aviv is and how he goes there. And he's just such a well-traveled individual. And he said, yeah, because he's down in South Florida during the season, but then in the summer he goes up north and he'll, follow people around. He'll DJ like on the Hamptons and cool places like that. So he's always with rich-ass people playing rich-ass parties, doing cool-ass things. But he lives in a Volkswagen van. He's like going, yeah, he's got a water system and everything in there. He's like, everything I need. And he's like, yeah, I just like pull up to the beach and just kind of like stay there. And so that's really his life. He really is kind of like that. So he's just got that. I think he might have an apartment here in South Florida. So I think this is where he's originally from. But yeah, he just goes up there and just sleeps in his van. It's all cool, man.
Wow.
Yeah, just a DJ at party. I wake up in the morning in the beach, get some tasty waves.
Just go in the van, park it in the parking lot, and have some fucking psycho knock on your window, try to break in.
Murder you with a hatchet, no big deal.
No one can hear you. It'd be sweet.
and he's always with the hottest chicks. He has, anytime I see a photo of him on Instagram.
Oh,
last
I
photo
know.
I saw, he was on the beach, and there were about 10 hot chicks in bikinis, and he's like in the middle. And
That's
he's
He
like,
used to date my super hot friend Graciela.
okay.
I mean, this girl
She
is
sounds super hot.
next level. Oh, she's just your flavor, Kevin.
Yeah.
She'd shoot you down real quick.
Good, I like
She's
that. I like
gorgeous.
rejection by hot chicks. Yeah.
She's like supermodel.
Yeah.
And that was his girlfriend
Right.
for a while. So
Look,
He's got a good act.
He ain't messing around.
You ask me, I think you're a fucking supermodel. But hey, what do I know?
I appreciate that.
You're good.
Yeah. About the dance-off.
Oh, yeah.
Paolo, the sound guy, had an idea.
Kind of weird how that
Ooh.
kind of died down a little bit.
It didn't die down. I have stitches.
Still.
Well, he was saying, because Jaber was talking about getting your face tattooed on his ass, he was saying that the punishment for Virginia should be she has to get her nipples pierced. That way you can promote it as tit for tat. Get it? A tit and a tat.
I would rather have a tattoo on the tit, and then it really is tit for tat.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I get...
That'd be a tat on the tit.
Yeah, I think we need to keep it even. If we're going to do this, it's got to be tat for tat, baby.
I want to be on your ass.
And I want to be up on your ass.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Then let's do it. I like butt cheek better. Is that bad?
But compared to what? The mullet?
Tit.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to getting your nipple pierced?
We're not doing your tit.
Yeah.
Nipple pierce isn't permanent. You take it out. It's no. Now, if we're doing this shit, one of us is going to have to bleed a bit. Emotionally and physically.
Okay.
I bleed every month. I'm here all day.
Yeah.
When are you in your... When's your cycle?
No. So we're kind of in the middle.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
In the middle, so this is a good time right now.
Yeah, we're Zed. We're in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see here. Got this email from Andrew in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Andrew, you from far.
Said, hey, Kevin, if Kim, the Mexican Queen, were to take you away for the weekend, where she would do anything you wanted sexually with no repercussions, but you had to eat everything Jaybird told you to all week leading up to it, would you do it?
Oh, and I'm going to get real nasty with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on some pounds, y'all. A little pushing for that cushion.
I don't think I would.
You motherfucker,
I
really?
think I would. Yeah.
What a diet
'Cause
pansy.
it would weigh on me so much, literally and physically. Yeah.
Come on, you get back in the gym in a week. Look, that
No,
week,
I think you could honestly, if I did what you could probably put 15 pounds on me. Yeah.
The weekend is anything goes, baby. You want whipped cream, blow
And then not to
piece?
mention, like I put on 15 pounds, now I'm gonna like want to have like a weekend of sex.
When you
Look
feel
down and be like,
fat.
yeah.
That's what you want.
Right.
Not.
Oh my gosh, I wish somebody would present a deal like that to me. You get to eat as much as you want, then you get to fuck? Oh my gosh. Heaven?
I think that's why it's addressed to me.
Yeah. I figured.
Otherwise, you're right. It's not much of a challenge. It's like, okay, yeah.
It's a
just awesome.
no-brainer. It's
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
yeah.
Yeah. Jaybird actually went to the gym yesterday, but he said he's done. It's over.
What happened?
Just, you ever get involved in something and right off the bat, it's just not working out?
What gym did you go to?
I'm not going to say the name.
Were you by yourself?
I was by myself.
Did
yes.
you have a trainer or something?
No, I don't
You
do
just
that.
went.
Yeah, I'll go to the gym every now and then. I haven't been in a while. So this gym that I went to, first off, I only have earbuds that I can really use. These are way too kind of clunky. So the earbuds, I try to put these cheap earbuds in, and the fucking thing snapped, first of all. So my headphones aren't working. And I go on the treadmill, and right next to me is the beefiest meathead you would getting his cardio on, and he's got his headphones on, and he's running real hard, and he's grunting. He can't hear how loud he's grunting. So the whole thing, and he's doing this thing where he keeps on wiping off his forehead and going like this with his hands, like flicking the sweat.
The sweat is flying in the air.
And it's meathead sweat. Where we're talking, I mean, there's a shit ton of sweat here. He flicks sweat. It lands on my lip from where he was at. I was so grossed out.
Did you say something?
No, because now I'm going to fucking say something. I have to tell him to take
Yeah,
off
what are you
his
going to say to a
headphones.
meathead? Yeah.
You just splashed me, bitch.
So I stopped doing that. I start doing some little free weight stuff, and I swear to you,
5 pounds.
and they weren't much. They were not much. That's
Don't
not,
need much.
But
He gets those purple weights.
I swear to you on everything, I put these weights back. I swear to you. So like 10 minutes later, after the spit incident, I put the weights back. One of the people that works at the gym go, "Excuse me, sir. Just want to let you know, when you use the weights, we have a rule. You got to put them back." And I'm looking at him like, yeah, I know. I put my weights back because I kind of got defensive. It's like, just making sure you know that. I was like, motherfucker, what? I'm looking around. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to get a pizza.
Fuck these pink weights. I'm
Yes,
out.
yeah, you're right. I'm not even good at working out. I'm getting fucking belittled publicly.
And sweat on.
Oh, so I'm out with the gym. I'll go hang out with my buddy Jim instead.
That was
done, huh?
quick.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
One and done.
I'm just gonna go out and I'll work out outside like I've been doing.
Yeah,
I want to
that's
go in the
fine.
gym. I've been outside filming too much, and people on Twitter are saying, people on Twitter and Virginia, you're getting too dark. Look, you got skin cancer. I was out filming for 5 hours on Monday. That's what happened.
Your belly is brown. You weren't shirtless. That's from playing shirtless tennis.
This is the color of my skin when I'm out in the sun. It's only when I got into radio when I became fat and pasty.
Well, I like you better pasty. Not fat, but I like you better pasty.
I don't give a shit what you like. Good thing we're not married or dating. Thank God.
I care about your skin.
It's people. We put fucking suntan. I'm putting all that shit on.
I don't
there.
think you are.
Well, I don't give a shit what you think.
You are brown like a biscuit.
This is what happens when you go out into the sun and you're half Italian. You get dark. Fucking amazing, isn't it?
Crazy how that works.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just be playing tennis outside again.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, the
yeah.
whole gym
I hear
heads.
you.
Gosh,
Yeah.
these meatheads.
You need
You
to
got
wear
some
a
good
top.
excuses.
You need to wear a muzzle.
I'll play you in tennis in a muzzle if you wear a top.
Look, I said it on Twitter. I can lose my tan. You're still going to be annoying and obnoxious.
Can't shake that.
No.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, here's like the thing too. Like with the gym, I get it, man. You got some good viable excuses. Like yesterday, I was out. I had my headphones on, and this is just it. This is where I am. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a little bit of time in, and I start to go out to my car, and here comes the UPS guy up the driveway. hands me all these packages. So then I have to go in, I have to go put them down on the cabinet. Then I get a text, there's a problem at the radio station. So I'm dealing with that. Then I get a call from the radio station. And then my wife is like, and by that time, it was 25, 30 minutes later. I'm like, now I'm getting to the time where it's going to be just, I'm like, fuck it. I just, you know, and I'm like, it's just one thing after another.
Trying
I'm
to do
like,
the right thing. You got motherfuckers spitting.
oh my gosh.
Blaming.
I took an hour long nap yesterday because I was trying to work on the schedule and doing different things, and I was tired anyway. And I wake up and I had 14 voice messages. And I had it was just one.
12 of them were from me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's just people. And I'm like, it's 1 hour I've been out of circulation. 1 hour, people.
14?
Yes.
Were any of them really like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that call?
How many were sales?
12.
12.
Yeah, and then the boss.
Okay, how many of
Sales
them?
went to the boss, be like, we can't get a hold of Kevin. Where's Kevin? Where's Kevin? You need to call him because he won't answer our
All right,
calls.
how many were?
That'll happen within 1 hour.
But
yesterday.
What happened?
How many were the same client? Was it
see.
all about the same client?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Are we involved in this client?
No, it was
Okay.
all me.
Okay.
And it was just
Kevin.
Because sometimes we mess shit up, and then Kevin has to get the complaint calls,
no,
and
you
I
guys are
feel
doing it,
bad
yeah.
for
I
that.
always get the residual conversations from Denny's after the fact. He's like, "Oh, Kevin, there's drama."
nobody messed anything up. It was just there's we have some people that they freak out immediately. And it was I'm like, I've texted Kevin 8 times. Yes, in 8 minutes.
Kevin's pooping, y'all. Let the man poop.
Kevin is taking a 1 hour nap because he gets up at 1 a.m.
Yes, and
Let the man lay.
It's all
bosses, sales managers, everybody. What's going on? Where are you? What's happening? What's happening?
It's all noise, baby.
Yeah,
It's all noise.
it was. But I had to deal with it. But that was just it. That was the gym problems yesterday. And it's just, that's all it takes. It's kind of like I'm on such a weak line to the gym. Like there's such a lack of commitment now that I get pinged like that. Ping, ping, ping. Then finally just
Fuck it.
You're right.
No,
Just not meant to be.
You can get annoyed to a point where you just land at fuck it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's
And
just,
you don't say fuck it.
Yeah.
You yell fuck it.
You're right. It's always like,
Fuck it.
yes.
it's just not meant to be. It's just not meant to be.
I've had a few fuck it moments the last couple weeks.
I've had one in the past 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What was your fuck it moment?
I don't like can't do people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a can't do person in my life. And it's really frustrating because
Now, what do you mean by can't do?
I like a person, if you say something, okay, here's what I need, this, and they go, you know what, I'm going to try to make that happen. But instead, this person goes, you know what, that's not going to happen, and here's all the reasons why. And I'm not going to do any work for you to make it happen because I've got 10 reasons why I don't think it's going to work. But I'm still not going to put in the effort to see if it would have worked, but here you go.
We worked with someone like that a few stations back, and I remember she was actually woman-splaining to me, if that's a thing.
It is.
And the same kind of thing. You're just like, look, what can I do? What can we do to make this work?
Let's make this work. Let's bring positivity. Let's bring an attitude of I can at least try.
Because maybe there'll be a different, somewhat of a version of a winning situation there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that makes you want to beat your head against the wall.
That'll happen a lot in life. You'll just...
You can't beat your head on the wall anymore. Not with that do.
Yeah, you'll mess up your hair.
I don't know. It's honestly, it's pretty... I'm amazed at how resilient it is. I mean, it's...
I
right.
retweeted
It's
that
in there.
video of you out in your
It holds
car.
its body, yeah, pretty well.
All right, I dare
Yeah.
you. Go beat your head against the wall.
No, I'm good.
Go beat your meat.
All right.
Well, that turned sexy.
Well, you guys enjoy. I'll see you later.
By the way, what a terrible term. Go beat your
Beat
meat.
your meat.
That's so crass.
Let me see here. Got an email from Jamie. Said earlier this week, Jason brought up the unsolved Rachel Hurley murder from Carlin Park back in the 1990s.
Yes.
Thank you to all the people sending me. They also expressing interest in this case.
And then Kevin talked about a murder from back in Logan, Ohio with Ned and Todd. Well, I'm a regular listener of a true crime podcast called True Crime Garage. And as soon as I finished listening to your show, I realized that the latest episode on this podcast featured the Logan, Ohio murder that Kevin was talking about.
No way.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah, I was going to actually go to the gym yesterday and get on the treadmill. Or
And listen to it.
Yeah, and listen to it.
Yeah,
Check it
that's
out.
fascinating. Maybe they have details that you hadn't heard before.
Oh, guarantee they do.
Yeah, I want to listen to it because, honestly, the whole murder we talked about a little bit here happened in 1982. So I'm 9 years old. So, I mean, think about, when you're 9. And so there are a lot of details that, I didn't know. And I was just, my memories are some of it. I'm like, okay, what really happened? And then yesterday there was a TV show on the ID channel. It's called, if you want to find it, I did a search, and that's what I did instead of the gym yesterday. I sat down and watched this special. It's called Your Worst Nightmare, Season 1, Episode 4, Horror in the Heartland.
Yeah, it sounds good.
That sounds real deep.
So that was the episode that featured the murder of Annette and Todd. And yeah, I really didn't know a lot of details because when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of details. And they wound up going for the stepdad, and there was a ton of stuff I didn't know. And I didn't really know anything about the story of who the killers were on the whole thing. So I watched the whole thing, and I was like, going, okay. Because all I remember as a kid was the stories of, okay, I remember some kids talking, saying, yeah, so-and-so was riding his bike, and he ramped over a leg. And I was like, what?
There was always, I think every town had a rumor like that.
Right. And then they were buried like in the shape of a pentagram. And
now,
they thought it was
true?
Satanists. Yeah, in the description of the show. Yeah, that was all part of it.
It said that.
Well, what had happened was they disappeared. And, Logan's such a small town, and they kind of set it up that way. And it's true. Like, we didn't lock our doors or anything like that. There was never any crime. Everybody knew everybody. There was nothing like that had happened, at least up until this point. And so then when they disappeared, people were like going, okay, wait, what's going on? The town was kind of freaking out. At 9 years old, I'm sure my parents were, shading me a little bit from all this kind of stuff. But
Sure, as they should.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell your child about details of a horrific satanic murder.
I would have absolutely found out about this.
Yeah, but I had definitely remembered hearing, of the Satanist kind of like angle. And then, as they found the bodies, and I did have it wrong. It was the torsos of the bodies they found in the river, not their heads.
Okay.
And so then the rest of the body parts were then buried in shallow graves. And, I guess just coincidentally, it had come out in the shape of a pentagram. And so it was the stepfather of the girl that they wound up arresting. He was a butcher. And there were also rumors, I'd never even heard this part, that he had, been molesting her.
What?
Yeah.
That was a fact?
Yeah, well, the rumors were there, and then what actually did him in, they went and searched his house, had a search warrant for it, and they found like some muddy boots, they found like a machete, and they found a gun because they found out that when they found the bodies, both had died from 2 bullet shots to the head. Gunshots to the head. Yeah.
Whoa.
So then they found a gun, but it, ballistics and all that stuff didn't necessarily match up. And then he tried to be helpful, and he said, well, if you're trying to identify the bodies, I've got some photos of Annette. So he hands over some photos that he'd taken of her where she's naked.
What?
Like wearing a gun belt and all this stuff. Yeah. So you're like going, okay, that kind of confirms the rumors. He was the stepdad. What stepdad has naked photos
Not a stepdad
of their
on the
stepdaughter
Not
that he took?
Creepy kind?
Creepy.
Okay, yeah. So that right away, people were just like, this guy's a creep. And so they, in a sense, were like, okay, he obviously did the murder. But none of the weapon, all that, nothing else really matched up. But they wound up arresting him anyway, and he spent 7 years in prison.
7?
7 years on death row.
Could you imagine being on death row and honestly innocent?
How did they convict him if none of the ballistics matched up?
Logan.
Oh, yeah, come on. This shit happens all the time, man.
Yeah, because he was like, in a sense, they had a tone because they're like, dude, you're so creepy. We don't give a shit. We'll make everything else square peg round hole fit.
Especially
So-
back then. I mean, they're just
Yeah.
they're
Because you
trying
were
to,
creepy.
they're trying to wrap up the case.
Well, and that was it, was because she died with her boyfriend. So like going, okay, obviously the stepfather's jealous and something had happened, and it was kind of based that, her boyfriend, their parents and everybody knew that he was kind of trying to shelter her from her stepdad. And so, the motive was there. And then they found one guy who they put under hypnosis who was like, oh, wait, no, yeah, I saw them walking downtown with Dale Johnson, and he pushed them both into his truck and then drove away. And that was their sole witness. He saw them drive away on the day of the murders with them in their truck, he thought, from downtown Logan. And so that was it. That was enough. They convicted him 7 years. But then 7 years later, they said, somebody said, let's go for an appeal on this. And they threw the case out. Logan couldn't afford to prosecute him. Just poor ass. So that's, if you want to murder anyone, do it in Logan because they don't have enough money to even prosecute you. So that's your lesson there. It's easy to kill and you'll definitely get away scot-free. So no problem. And then the thing about it was the whole special, they made Logan look really bad.
Aww.
And not that you have to work
often
hard.
they do that, though.
Well, there were a couple things. One of the guys on there, he's like going, well, you know, Logan was just, he was a guy, he was an out-of-towner, but he's like, Logan's just the kind of town that if you didn't have a reason to be there, you wouldn't go there on purpose. And then they were showing pictures of Logan. I'll show you if you're watching KVJ TV. They're showing pictures, and see that says Logan, Ohio.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I mean, it's a broke down, like beat up, like street, and I'm like, those buildings are horrific. Like they all look like they're about to fall into the ground.
So just so you know, with some of these crime specials, I have noticed, especially when they're in South Florida, that someone will get murdered up in Stewart, and that'll be the story. But they're showing all Miami landmarks, and they're showing all Miami footage because the average person who doesn't live in South Florida has no idea what they just think. They're hearing South Florida, they think Miami.
Yeah.
When you're like, if you're from this area, you go, Stewart does not look like fucking Miami.
So
Right.
as they were talking about just how shitty the town is, they showed this photo, and I'm like, where is that? And I sent it to my mom and dad, and they're going, we have no idea where this is. This is
I
not
bet
Logan.
you that's what they did.
Yeah, so it wasn't even Logan that they were showing. They were showing these like buildings are like falling into the ground.
They take creative license sometimes on that stuff.
Yeah. And then they had this guy on here, Larry Beal, and I looked, I'm like going, oh my gosh, that's my dad's old law partner.
Really?
Yeah, so he was on there. And at the
Well,
time,
he looks great.
I didn't even recognize him. I know, because I'm like,
Was he in a head-on car crash?
Oh, that's not nice to say. Motherfucker's older. That's what happens, dog. You get older.
yeah, I didn't really know what happened. I was like, wow, I didn't recognize him. So, yeah, he was on there. And
Was he involved?
he was the prosecutor
Oh.
in the whole thing. Yeah.
So he won originally, but then he had it overturned.
Yeah, and the funny thing on top of it, then they started talking about, because now the case was solved in 2008. I had moved away. I was down here, so I never really even heard the conclusion, so I didn't know what happened. Well, what had happened was apparently there was this party house in West Logan, which is kind of where it went down.
You didn't know a party house? I find
was
that hard to
9.
believe.
I'm 9. Well, and there's a real, and I know, there's a very skeezy element of Logan.
Okay.
Believe it or not. And so they're at this party house, these two dudes, and this guy's kind of a drifter, and he's going through town, and they're doing LSD and PCP, and they're drinking hard alcohol, and they kind of go out walking around. They stumble upon Todd and Annette, and the one guy who's the drifter is like, hey, honey, what's going on, kind of like thing. And so he winds up taking out a gun, and then he shoots them, and then they come back, and they're like on a PCP, LSD kind of thing, and they get a knife, and then they hack them up, and then that's who did the murders. Well, how it all came out was the girlfriend of the accomplice, not even the murderer. They were asking her years later, be like, are you sure you didn't know anything about this? Because, you know, the one guy who's questioning her about something else had just said, I know you were kind of around that circle. Well, it turns out what happened back in the day, Logan police got 2 different calls. One from the accomplice who 5 days after they went missing was like going, hey, have any bodies turned up? You guys found anything yet? And they're like, no, we don't have any bodies yet. They're just missing, and we hope we find them alive. Oh, okay, never mind. And he left his name. Well, the day that they found the bodies, his girlfriend called and said, you know what? I was concerned because my boyfriend came back that day covered in blood and had a huge cut mark on his leg all the way down to the bone. And he had no explanation. He said, mind your own business, when I asked him what happened. And she gave that to the Logan police, and they ignored it.
Not that big of a glaring.
So, I mean, I'm like, what kind of law department did we have? This guy left his name asking if there were any bodies 5 days after they go missing, and then his girlfriend calls the day they find the bodies saying he came home covered in blood, and they're like, man, it's probably nothing.
Come on,
Oh,
Logan,
my
get your
gosh.
shit together.
I was like, I saw them like going, you've got to be kidding me.
All of you should get out of law enforcement immediately.
It's
We
the
got
most-
a clean house.
It's the most damning, unbelievable thing ever because they so badly wanted to nail this Daryl Johnston, the stepdad.
Who was
'cause-
creepy, but
'cause-
not a murderer.
Because they had just gotten the creepy photos and he was a butcher and it all worked out
You
too
know
well.
what though? That is not an uncommon tale of where, especially some of these older stories where they go back and re-examine. There's glaring pieces of evidence that they just didn't do anything with. They'll have a
because they already had their mind made up.
Well, they'll have a key witness that usually this key witness will go to the police on multiple times, and they just don't listen to that person.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That
It
is
is crazy.
weird. That's crazy.
That is crazy. So then they had to lawyer up the accomplice. They called around, and I was texting my mom. She's like, "Oh yeah," she's like, "That guy had contacted your dad to represent him." And
Really?
yeah, I'm like, "Why didn't
The
you ever-"
murderer?
Yeah, the accomplice,
Oh,
the
the
guy who was with
accomplice.
him that helped them chop up the bodies, and he wound up getting. They only got him of a misdemeanor. Of
Body chopping?
Yes, basically
Stop
the legal.
it.
That was it. He had served 6 months already at that point for it, and so they just let him out.
Time served?
Logan,
You
what?
got time served?
Logan, what the shit?
Logan, we expect better out of you, but I guess we don't.
I guess we don't. You're right.
I was just like, what? And,
Shit.
And then even too, like with my dad, I'm like, why wouldn't you mention that to me? Like I
Right?
think that's kind of like they talk about their life and they'll share the most boring
Oh,
shit.
we had turkey.
But yet, like this guy, the biggest murder case ever in town, the one guy like asked you to represent him, and you just left that detail out. Like,
I mean, there's
didn't think to mention
dismemberment.
that.
There's fucking.
Right.
I mean,
that
body
doesn't come to
parts.
mind. Well,
This chicken was a little undercooked.
we got the Jubilee this week at church,
Yeah.
Kevin.
Turkey tetrazzini was delicious, Kevin. You should have been there.
Well, turkey tetrazzini talk is kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I learned a lot about that. So thank you for recommending that special. And I've got the podcast I'm going to go listen to about the details. But it was, 25 years basically the murder went unsolved, and so the whole town had no idea, and it changed the town. I mean, everybody became paranoid after that.
Did that guy stick around town or did he leave?
The accomplice did. The other guy was in prison when it all started to come out, and they just asked him about it. He's like, I think about it every night, and then he completely confessed.
Wow.
When he's in prison. Yeah, he's still in prison, life in prison. So, Jamie went on to say, Jaybird mentioned discussing some of the hometown true crime incidents on the Weird and Whatever podcast, and maybe this is an episode he could listen to and then discuss on the Weird and Whatever. Maybe we could have Kevin as a special guest for that specific episode. Just a thought.
I love it. Yeah, Weird and Whatever coming back first week in November, y'all.
Okay. And I guess on the creepy tip, too, going anonymous on this, but I heard you talking about women walking alone. We had gotten on that because of, what's her name, the comedian? Was talking about just how tough it is. Amy Schumer.
Amy
Yes.
Schumer.
Yeah, she said, I work right by the dog beach in Juneau Beach, and I just got a new camera. I was trying it out during my lunch break. I go there often. So I was rather excited. When I arrived, my camera lens fogs up from going from the cold car to the hot beach. So I sit on a bench and I wait. And while I'm checking out a camera, I notice a guy around my age, 24 to 26, staring at me while at the water fountain. I look at him and he ducks behind the water fountain and starts
What?
watching me crouch down.
Oh, that's creepy.
I decide that I was going to cross the street and go to the beach to try some photos. After crossing, I look behind me and he is standing right behind me. I move on to the beach. He is still watching and begins down the wooden stairs. So I move back to where the washrooms in the parking lot is, and guess what? He follows me back.
Oh, my gosh.
I see an older gentleman waiting for his wife in the restroom and ask him to please watch me as I walk to my car because I'm being followed. I straight up point to the guy who's following me, and he retreats the other way but is still watching me. The gentleman, of course, agrees and waits for my thumbs up when I got to the car. This was not at night. It was 11:30 a.m., Juneau Beach. Couldn't believe it.
That's exactly where the Rachel Hurley thing was at. Up at that Juneau, that whole little area.
Carlin Park.
Well, Juneau and Carlin Park, though, they kind of run into each other.
Okay. I don't want to fight with you about the Jupiter area.
Said, yeah, it's so awful as a female to not be able to feel safe anywhere. I just wanted to practice with my new camera. If anyone of you wants to be my bodyguard and follow me around so I can take photos of landscaping, let me know. I can use you as a model. Thanks for listening.
Oh, if you need
Just wanted to get the word out.
If you need a model, you need the beautiful Virginia.
Yep.
Yes, I'm available for model work, but I gotta tell you, the price is high.
Tell you what, Metal Beard Dan is in the chat room saying how beautiful you look today.
Really?
Now, is it sarcasm or does he really think you look beautiful?
I'm gonna take it as a compliment, Metal Beard Dan, and maybe it's an olive branch of sorts. Is that what you're trying to extend my way? Or is it a trap?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Yeah, you never know.
Either way, I like to play, so let's go.
All righty. Well, there you go. Thanks for locking in today. Appreciate the emails as well and the true crime drama suggestions.
Yes.
Mail them in to us. Mail at kvjshow.com. mail at kvjshow.com. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.